all the things today. All the things. We are doing a restorative practice, and for it to be the most restorative, you're going to need some stuff. You need 2 blocks or something that is going to resemble a block for you. You need some kind of blanket or really short bolster. I would recommend a blanket though if you have one. You're going to need a strap. Goodness me. And you're also going to need a large bolster or a bigger blanket or a couch cushion or a pillow or something like that. But trust me when I say you're going to absolutely adore this practice. Let's go ahead and get started. We are going to start sitting on this bolster, the biggest one you have, nice and tall, and we are going to start with anuloma viloma, or alternate nostril breathing. Now, this is one time when we are going to make sure that we're all using the same hand, the right hand. You're going to focus on the thumb and the ring finger. So you will be closing off a nostril with your thumb, and then you'll be closing off a nostril with your ring finger. Now we're starting with just one nostril breathing, which is a little bit different, but we're kind of warming up that way. And then we're going to put together a pattern called anuloma viloma, or alternate nostril breathing. Feel free to keep Kleenex close by. It's okay. This is very good for kind of balancing that, the right and left brain. It's good for calming the nervous system. And it's actually really good to release toxins because we're breathing through the nose only, and also to help clear out the sinuses. That being said, if you are experiencing nasal congestion, it's really tempting to not do this breath and to skip over it. But let me tell you what to do instead. If you cannot get air through, or it's really frustrating, keep the hold and drop the mouth open. Okay? Restorative yoga is all about calming the body, releasing tension, and it's a type of yoga that everyone can incorporate into their practice. So we're going to start with this breath to bring everything down. So I like to hold my hand like this, right? Just my thumb and my pinky finger, or my thumb and my ring finger can work, but you can hold it however you want. It is kind of important that we use the correct anatomy to do this, but the actual mudra or hand position can be whatever. So I'm going to close off my right nostril with my right thumb. Close my eyes and start to breathe through my left nostril. Give it a minute. Sometimes at first it's a little bit overwhelming, but very soon it should start to calm down. Remember my trick. If it's getting frustrating or if you feel like you can't get any air in, just drop the mouth open. We're going to switch. We're going to take that ring finger, closing off our left nostril, and just breathe through our right. Again, at first, especially because we've been holding it closed, it might feel a little overwhelming. Just relax into this breath and keep going. Keep breathing. We're going to put together a little pattern for true alternate nostril breath. Holding that left nostril, exhale, inhale, and then switch, closing off the right nostril, exhale through the left. Inhale, switch, exhale. Inhale. Switch. Exhale. Inhale. And switch. Feeling that little pause at the top of the breath as you switch. Each nostril getting a full exhale and inhale. Trying to release tension anywhere else that it shows up. Shoulders relax, face relaxes. Sitting up tall, lifting the chin a little bit, just a little. One more breath for each nostril. And relax. So nice. All right. Let's go onto our mat. Flat back. Move that out of the side. And actually today, if you would like a very soft rise in the head. So in fact, I'm going to take this blanket and go out a little bit wider, but we're going to put just a little bit behind our head to make this easier than normal, right? So lowering back onto our back, our head on our blanket. Let's bring our right leg in, holding on with the right hand, and we're just gonna make some hip circles. There's not a lot of movement in this class. In fact, we do a little bit to warm up, which is what we're doing right here on the mat. And then when we move into the next few postures, we build them up and then we hold them. And it's going to be quite a hold and you're going to love it. Restorative is always one of everyone's favorite practices. Go ahead and switch. That and Yoga Nidra. Usually it's surprising as well because we tend to think of yoga as a very physical thing. And we find that the slower, the more meditative practices are actually more beneficial to us. Good. Holding this leg center. We're going to extend the leg up, nice and straight, pressing to the heel. Zipping the belly. Pulling the abdomen in just a little bit. Pulling the leg back toward our face, a passive stretch. And then relaxing the leg, this time adding on the strap. I'm sorry, that was an active stretch. Now a passive stretch, relaxing, pulling the leg back down toward our face a little bit. We're going to do something to kind of trick our muscles into stretching a little bit deeper. I want you to push this foot into the strap and try to lift the upper body a little bit. You can even try to extend that bottom leg, zipping the belly, finding this, maybe pulling up a little more, pushing a little bit more through, holding for 3, 2, 1, lowering the leg flat if you want to. If the leg was extended, lower it flat, and then pulling a little bit further back. Holding on to this strap, we'll take our right hand, since our right leg is in, so if you're opposite, it's the same arm, same leg. Extend the other leg out to the side. I have all my little restorative yoga props here, so let my hand lay flat. And then keeping our hips equally pressing into the mat, opening to the side. So you might not go as far out as you think. As soon as you find that tilt, that's when we stop. So you're actively pressing down through that left side and opening the right. Coming back to center and switching, taking both straps into the left hand, reaching the right hand out. We're going to take this across our body. This time we do roll up into a spinal twist. Now what you can do to get a little deeper stretch is actually pulling that toe up a little higher. I'm resting my elbow on the ground. Just, you'll see it on the other side, but it's a little bit helpful in this one to get the tension that I need and the traction that I need. Hoping this mic is in a good place. I will say that's harder in restorative yoga, to make sure you have good mic placement. I don't usually think about that. Slowly coming back to center and releasing. Good. Both feet are bent. We can put our strap to the side. Doing the whole thing again. Left side, pulling the knee in, making some little circles. It's like we're stirring that femur down into the hip socket. So we're really relaxing the leg. We might be moving the pelvis around a little bit. That's fine. Not a big deal. It doesn't have to be perfection. I will say that is one thing in my years of teaching yoga. What year is this? We're past my 20th year of teaching yoga. Switch direction. That I've kind of let go of is that idea of perfection. And you'll find that as you start learning yoga, or perhaps teaching yoga, you might develop that same attitude of this is the way. But we have to remember that we're all different. There's all kinds of different bodies. And as long as we stick to some really basic principles of alignment, moving within the scope of that is perfectly okay. Good. From here, extending the leg straight up, pressing through the heel for an active, I'll get it right this time, an active stretch. Trying to pull the toes a little bit closer to the face. And it's okay if you get a little shaky. That happens sometimes. That's totally fine. Good. Now, let's go to a passive stretch. Adding the strap in here. However, you can easily get into it. And then pulling a little bit closer to the face. From here, pushing into the strap and lifting up a little bit if you want. Extend that bottom leg. Hovering it just above the ground if you want. Pressing, pressing, and lifting, zipping that belly. And relaxing if we want. We can put that opposite leg straight down on the mat. Relaxing the leg into a passive stretch again. And then holding, opening to the side. So we're same side arm, same side leg, trying to stay grounded mostly through this side of the hip. We don't want to feel like we're rocking up. So as hard as that leg falls, as hard as we push down through this opposite side. It's almost resting on a bolster over here, which is also an option, by the way. You could put a bolster under the leg and rest it. And coming back to center, let's switch sides. Now you can see what's kind of going on this side. I'm going to press my opposite hand away, rolling onto the side this time, letting the leg come over. And then you can pull it up a little bit higher. So you can see I'll rest my elbow on the ground a lot of times and kind of pull that leg up a little bit. Getting the stretch on the outside of the leg. Coming back to center and releasing. Good. Awesome. That's all that you really, unless I'm doing something I can't remember, that's all we really need this strap for today. All right, let's set that to the side. We're going to roll to the side. We probably will have to push ourselves up to seated. This is the one part that's a little bit more challenging in a restorative class, is that we have kind of these chunks of times. We get set up, and then we stay there for a while. Less flowy, but really, really nice. For this next pose, you need your blanket probably folded one higher than it was. And then you'll also need your big bolster. So your big bolster is coming under your side. One leg in, almost like you're kind of side saddling it in here. You've got, I call it mermaid legs to the side. And then you're gonna lean yourself over, resting your head on the blanket. Now it is absolutely okay to let your head really hang into this, and to let your neck be kind of loosey-goosey and relaxed in that really extended position. If it doesn't feel good to your neck, roll the blanket up a little higher from here, or perhaps, here we go, blanket and block to the side. That's another option. So you decide what feels best to your neck. I kind of want my neck to release a little bit more today, so I am going to take my blanket to the mat. Good. And then, once we're here, we can just stay here with one arm on the bolster, one arm out in front. If we want more through our lats, we can reach the arm all the way up and over the body, relaxing with our biceps right by our temple. So that is an option for today. Again, you can also have the option with your arm here. You just decide what you need and where you're going to feel the best. And then let your eyes close, because now we're here for a little bit. So it's important, once you get set up in a place where you feel okay, that you close your eyes. This is going to let the nervous system shift. It's going to let the body shift into a stretch. You'll start to notice everything settling down. Maybe the stretch that you needed so bad finally shows up. We're holding each pose just to kind of bring you into a little bit of awareness for about 3 minutes. It's not the magic number, but it's the number that I've found that allows you to stay focused on the actual pose instead of falling asleep, and also getting the maximum benefit from the pose, again, instead of falling asleep. So that's going to be the number that we're going to use today, and it's no more magical than the fact that I've just experienced that number to be a good number for us. If you find yourself starting to drift off, come back to your breath. Make it bigger, make it fuller, and notice where you feel that breath. When you're ready, slowly pushing yourself up. We're going to the other side. Now I'm going to actually, this is why I love the mic, be facing away from you, so that maybe you see it differently and you say, oh, that's another way to set up, or something my body might enjoy. And it shows you the best way to do it. So you can just flip-flop the body right? Pulling yourself up on the other side, that thigh and bolster or pillow meeting, and then leaning over, reaching, and noting that your neck might be different on one side than the other. So you might want a bigger bolster, or you might want the block, or you might want less on this side. And then of course we have the option of reaching that arm over. So you just listen to your body, decide what you need in this space, in this time. Breathing. Let you see what this side looks like with my arm overhead. And again, breathing into this pose. I will say, if we start to kind of drift away, a good focal point right now is the ribs that are up. Because we have these little muscles in between our ribs, the intercostal muscles. Just like any other muscle, they can get tight and less mobile. So as we breathe into the ribs, imagine that breath pushing up into the ribs and kind of forcing them to expand a little bit. And start to feel what that stretch can feel like in the side of the body. It's not just about stretching our obliques, the side of the abs that people think about. It's actually also about getting into our rib cage and finding a breath there that works for us. Feeling little releases along the body with each exhale. And then slowly using our hand to push ourselves up and turn to face this. Good. From here, turning that big bolster, you can let it rise up on the little blanket or bolster. We're just going to find, I'm sorry if I hit the mic, a child's pose. You can let your head rest one direction, just breathing. We're not going to be here as long as the other poses. This is just kind of an intermediary pose. I'm going to pull my hair out of my face. And then turning to face the other direction. All right, bring it up. One of my personal favorite poses coming up. It can be a little awkward to get into, but once you figure it out, I think you too will be shocked by how good it feels. So we are going to need bolster, blanket, blocks, all the things. Bolster goes this way on the mat. blanket comes to the front. It's like there for us in a moment. And our blocks are on either side of the mat, a little bit below that blanket. First thing we do is we place our shins on the roll of the bolster and we lay ourselves down. So if you've ever, the best thing that I can come up with that reminds me of this experience is having a massage, how they'll put a bolster underneath your legs. It helps kind of turn your body into the right position and release any tension that's there. So you'll put your shins on the bolster, and then you're going to take one block, and it's going to go right underneath your shoulder. So I'll show you on this side. Block, shoulder, and it's pretty far down here. You've got some room. You're supporting the shoulder and the following part of the arm, and then you're letting yourself lie palm up. And you're going to do that on both sides. All right? Now, ideally, your head, after all of this, I'm just moving stuff that you can see, will be focused straight down to the ground. Sometimes straight down isn't comfortable. So we take this blanket and we can make it any level we want, and we put just our forehead on it so that we have this open space to breathe, again, like a massage table. But you really want that neck straight down. So do what you can to bolster up your forehead and allow you to be able to breathe. So let's get there, okay? Blocks come in, both sides, even, same direction. Like check our head position and then deal with the blanket as we must to get into maybe a better head position. And that's it. This is where we stay. Adjust, get comfortable, and then start to breathe. And I'll be honest with you, this is the place where I typically, in my live classes, this is the one where students fall asleep. I think we're not as used to this position, and so when our body gets into this position and gets relaxed, we really do fall into the comfort of having an open-hearted position. And so as we breathe, just trying to stay aware of the breath and do some little check-ins, maybe first starting checking in the forehead, and relaxing the neck, moving down to the shoulders, checking in on the torso and the low back, checking in on the legs, and breathing. Good. To come out of this, just kind of shimmy the blocks over to the sides. Take your time. We've left that one a little early. Rolling ourselves up. And yeah, the beautiful thing about watching this on video is that you can pause it and stay in any of these poses for as long as you want. We have one more position to set ourselves up in. You're probably like me, where everything is slowing down. we are going to set ourselves up, and this time the blanket can be used as just a blanket, pure and simple. So put it to the side. We'll be fine. We'll set up this way. You're going to set up your blocks, tall side and medium side, or short side. We'll see which one works best. I like to start tall and medium. And then you are going to put your bolster on top of this. Now, somehow I did that perfectly the first time through. Doesn't usually happen like that. But you want the bottom of the bolster to be connected to the ground, and you don't want like this kind of look or something with the blocks. So double check to the side that your blocks are stable and sturdy, and that you can kind of push down on them and they're fine. They're not going a whole lot of places. We're going to do two different things with this bolster, a total of three, but a total of three different things on the bolster. So we're going to start kind of like where we were in the sideline, but knees a little bit closer together. And we're going to turn our heart toward this. Scoot our hips close, turn our heart toward, and then slowly lower our heart straight onto the bolster. And our head can either look in the same direction or opposite direction. Now kind of play with where you want to be on this twist. You can go closer, you can go further away, and you can take your blanket. Now again, we're using it just like a regular blanket, especially because we might be cooling off now. You can take your blanket and cover yourself up as far as good as it gets as we go into this. Now ideally you'll get to a place where you can look away from your knees. It might not be today, but ideally you will. If you have to look the same direction, that's fine. But what we would like is a supported twist all the way up. Now if you have some extra blocks or extra anything and you want to support your hands on it, it feels really good. However, your hands shouldn't really be doing a whole lot. Hopefully you can hear me when I do that. I probably shouldn't lay like that and talk. Your hands shouldn't really be doing a whole lot. They should be relaxing. So take your time in this twist, and then think too about the legs. They can go further out, almost like a half pigeon. They can come further in. Whatever you need to do to make yourself feel comfortable in this twist. And again, we should be relaxed with our eyes closed. I just feel like this blanket might not really happen, but you get the idea. And slowly coming back to center. From here, my apologies, the microphone is not cooperating. I'm really sorry if this is making all kinds of horrible noises. Okay, we're going to switch to the other side. That should at least got me back into the present if you tend to drift away. So to switch to the other side, I just literally shift everything over, recover, if you like that. This is feeling very nice. There's a little chill to the air in the room that I'm filming in. Nice for the more active sequences, but harder when it comes to restorative. Bringing yourself close, pulling the blanket as you will, turning the heart toward this, and then lying down. Again, ultimately looking away from our knees. If you have to look the same direction, that's okay, but ultimately we'll turn our head to look away. Allowing our eyes to close. We're going to slowly push up. This time we're going to turn to have our back toward the incline. Scooting our bottom all the way up. And move the blanket for a second so I can show you legs set up. We have some options. You can put the heels of your feet together, lowering back slowly, letting the head rest here. Or you can lay the legs out straight. You can even, if it feels okay to your back, bend the knees, or if that doesn't feel okay to your back, spread your feet about as wide as the mat and then kind of let them drop toward the inside, or just as wide as you want them spread. And that can feel supported as well. My favorite position is the bound angle. At this point in practice, our hips are feeling pretty flexible. That's why we did the warm-up we did. So then you can take your blanket and you can lay here. This is also a really common way to lay during yoga nidra practices. So yoga nidra, guided meditation, those are typically audio only. You don't really see much of anything unless you're taking a physical in-person class. But this is a really popular and comfortable way to set it for yoga nidra. You might, though, because you're not going to be warmed up that when you just jump into a yoga nidra practice, have your legs out, but having that elevated spine so the chest can open and we can breathe easily is really nice. Of course, any of these would work, and even laying flat on your back would work, but this is a really nice yoga nidra position as well. From here, just closing your eyes. I will be moving, I will be sitting up, but you do not have to. Just let yourself inhale and exhale in our final pose for our practice today. And as we lay here, I want us to tune into our stream of consciousness imagine it like a literal stream, something just flowing through your mind. What I mean by stream of consciousness is anything that's trying to pull us out of this space and make us think about it. It could be anything from physical, like noises that we hear in our environment, the distraction there, or it could be mental distractions like to-do lists, our conversations that we've had with a friend, or a text that we're waiting to hear back from, those types of things. And the challenge in meditation is that, well, and often we're told to clear our mind, and I will never tell you that you should have a clear mind, because that's just not how we function typically in this world, in this environment. We typically have a very full mind. But I will say that you can learn to let these things flow through. So it's almost as if you are a conscious observer to what's going on in your mind. And you see these little things and you give them attention for just a moment as they flow past, but you decide not to dive into them deeply. So the reason I say like a stream, if you can imagine that there's all these things floating past and you're seeing all of these different distractors, but you're not choosing to grab it and pick it up and look at it and peel it apart. You're letting it just flow through. Being very intentional about what we allow to distract us, or if we can take this, and do this in a state where we're not set up to be distraction free, we can learn to decide what takes our energy, where we're going to spend those little chunks of our energy, where we're going to give some of ourselves. So as we relax here, just allowing that stream of consciousness to flow. When you're ready, start to breathe and bring yourself up just a little bit. Maybe hearing the sound of my voice, maybe becoming conscious of what we feel. You know that you're welcome to stay here for as long as you need to. But if you're ready to come out of this, start by just wiggling your arms and legs, wiggling your extremities. And opening your eyes and seeing the light in front of you. And then maybe sitting yourself all the way up. And know that even though we're not in the same physical space together, that we're connecting with each other in a different way, in a way that is kind of transcends time and space. It's something that will be a connection in a way to spread this kind of softness and this energy in bigger and bigger and bigger ways. So take this with you and use these poses anytime you feel the need to. Thank you for your practice.